everyone, FarmSim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. Today, in collaboration with the team at Thrustmaster, we are going to be looking at the FarmStick, and specifically my settings for the FarmStick, how I set it up, and how I use it for telehandlers and front loaders. Most of the settings that I use are the base game ones, which I think is predominantly helpful for everyone, but I have got a couple of custom keybinds in there, which I'm going to share with you, because again, if you play similarly to me, or you like bale loading and things like that, these could become very, very handy. I've set them up this way because it basically means I don't have to go into the keybinds. If I use a different implement, I don't have to go into the keybinds every time and play with them. This covers most of the bases for me. So I'll share it with you, and hopefully it can be helpful for you as well. Now, of course, on top of that, I would like to hear how you use your FarmStick as well, and if you do it differently, what you do differently. I might even learn a few things from how you guys do it. So, let's jump in and have a look at what we've got. These are predominantly the three main bale loading tools that I use. We have got the Gavile one, again, base game, for round bales. It's got an open and close jaws type mechanism there. We have the Albert, again, this was released in one of the updates recently. It is base game now, and it is very, very good. Specifically because it will pick up 3 square bales. If you've got something like the sled on the Krone Big Pack baler, it's a very helpful tool, and very quick actually, for manual loading. So these are both manual loaders. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and a lot of people do like their auto loader, but I don't know, maybe I'm some sort of masochist, but I do quite enjoy loading bales by hand. But when I don't, I have got the Lizard Pro Baler Loader from Black Sheep Modding. So this is an auto load loader, which clips to the front of your telehandler or your wheel loader. And it's kind of almost an in-between between an auto load trailer and doing it manually. So you auto load the bales onto here, but you have to manually stack them onto the trailer and kind of get things lined up a little bit more. It's good. It's a nice halfway house, and I do recommend checking it out if you haven't. I've also done a video on that, which I'll link to in the description and up in the top corner there as well. You can check that out. Right, let's jump in and let's have a look at some of these controls. So here we are. What I'm going to do, I think, is probably roll up to the round. No, let's go with this one first. Let's jump in here. So I'm going to roll up to it, as you can see. Now, when I spin round slightly, you'll see that we're slightly angled upwards there. So my left and right move things down and up, and we'll be able to see that a little bit better when we've got the implement attached. So let's roll up to it. I connect using the up arrow here, so top row, furthest right button, that is a default button. We are connected now, and as you can see, if I go to the left it goes up, and to the right it goes down on the angle there. Now, if I want to raise things, we can do that. That's pretty straightforward, as you would expect. And down again. Now this is where things get interesting, because the F1 and the F2 buttons have nothing set to them on the PC version of the FarmStick. Now, I have customized these, so I'm going to roll forward here, and we're going to kind of get ourselves aligned with these 3 bales, like so. Now, because I've got multiple different implements here, and they all use slightly different keybinds, I have to set this one up. So I basically pull the trigger on the front here. There's a trigger on the front, so I pull and hold that down and press F1, and you can see the tool closes around the bales and grabs them. So now if I lift up, we have got our 3 bales on the grabber there. So we'll roll over to the trailer and we'll drop these off here. So in essence, although you've got 2 buttons that you can customize on the front there, you actually have got 4, because if you use the trigger at the front, you can actually bind them twice. So let's drop those onto there. And again, to release with this one, trigger on the front again, F1 button, lift the spikes out, and away we go. There you go, 3 perfectly loaded bales, and that was manually. gets quite good fun when you go a little bit higher, but it's quite a good way of doing things. And of course, you can see me using the little joystick on the top of the farm stick here as well to look around. Sometimes I use my mouse, sometimes I use this. There's a lot of muscle memory going on, so sometimes I forget. Sometimes it can be a lot easier to use the farm stick one. Other times, if you're walking around or doing other stuff, the mouse can be a little bit easier, but it is a nice handy option to have there. Now we're finished with this guy, so we're going to detach it again. There we go. And let's move on to the round baler. So same principle applies here. Now these are all default settings. So let's roll up to it, let's connect. Again, same button. And I should probably show you as well, this switch here, this is actually 2 buttons. If you go up and you go down, it records as 2 separate triggers. So if I push up now, you can see especially handy on the telehandler, or I pull back, it extends or retracts it. Very helpful. Now, with the Gavile, you roll up to your bales, like so. Now you can see the jaws are out at the moment. In fact, before I go up to the bale, I'm going to do this again. Pull the trigger on the front here, and I go left and right. Shouldn't have gone left because they were already open, but right closes them, left opens them. Now if I lift my trigger finger off, and I just go left and right, you can see, in essence, we're using the same maneuver, but just with the trigger pulled down to do 2 different things here. So that is quite a nice touch. So basically, almost everything on the farm stick you could multi-map if you want to. There we go. So we'll roll up to it, we'll grab it, we'll pinch the jaws, should allow us to pick it up, like so. Now we can roll around and drop it onto the trailer. Let's head over here. Again, one of the things with loading bales, and anything actually onto trailers in FarmSim, you kind of have the spatial awareness challenge, so again, this is where the joystick can come in handy. Make sure you get things aligned properly. I definitely find it easier outside of the cab, but let me know if you're an inside the cab loader. I will have a lot of respect for you if you do that. Right, just another example of how you can load. Not all bales come out of the baler sitting nicely on their flat edge. The majority of the time they will sit on rounds, so you can do this, roll down like so. Quite good about aligning itself sometimes the more you push things down. But once it's there, press the front trigger and go to the right. Lift off that trigger when you're happy that it's been grabbed, and there you go. You can then rotate it. Again, we're just going to use this rocker here to pull the arm back in. Make things a little bit easier. And then we get that lined up and onto the trailer. So there we go. Again, a little bit of practice to try and get it stacked well. That looks okay-ish. So again, trigger on the front and round to the left to unhitch those jaws, and there we go. Not bad. It's a little bit more time consuming, I'm not going to lie, doing the round bales than it is with the squares, but it's nice to play with both options sometimes. So let's drop that down, just spin around again so you can see when we detach it we go onto the floor. Now, last but by no means least, the autoloader from Black Sheep Modding. So again, usual scenario here, we will roll up to it and we will attach it. Now, the difference with this has a load and an unload option. So there's a few things that you need to be able to do. I'm just going to pull the menu up because there's a few keybinds in here. This isn't a tutorial for this loader, by the way. I've got a video of that which I talked about before, and I'll put it in the link in the description as well. But there is a loading trigger, so you want to set that first, and you want to set it away from the loader. But once that's done, there is a load option. So again, F1, if you remember, with the Albert 3-bale square bale loader that we've used, I use the trigger and F1 on the front. This time I'm just going to use F1. So again, shows you how you can have different keybinds attached to the same button if you use the trigger on the front. So this switches the auto load on and off. So off is when the jaws are back, on is when they're pointing forward. So now if I roll up to a bale, you remember where you saw that trigger there? Doesn't matter what angle you're at, it will pick up your first bale, like so. Now I can turn that off, pressing the F1 button there. Now I roll up to a bale, it will just bounce off it. But if I, of course, then turn it on, F1 again, roll up to it, it will pick up that bale because it knows that the auto load is on. And again, for the third one, it's clever this as well, because your bales can be scattered all over the field if they've not been lined up nicely. They're on their end or they've fallen into a ditch or something like that. As long as you get that trigger over them, it will pick them up and do them very, very nicely. So there you go, 3 bales, nicely loaded. We will roll round. This actually has a round bale option as well, so bear that in mind if you prefer round to square bales. But we'll roll round to here now, and to unload, it has a separate button. So down we go. Make sure they're on or near the trailer, and this time I'm going to press F2, and that drops them on to the trailer, and we are done. So there you go. That is how I set up my front loaders and my telehandlers to work for loading bales and bale grabs. I will just jump into the controls here. Most of these are done down using, he says as he goes down to it here, tool function 1, 2, 3 and 4. So BX and Y are the 3 that I'm using there. You want to scroll along and you can see SimTask FarmStick X right, tool functions 1, 2 and 3. I haven't got anything mapped for 4 yet, but you can see there 24 is F1, 23 the F2 buttons, so they're the number allocations given to them. And you can see here, when we're holding the trigger down at the front, 31 is the trigger, plus 24, we know is here. That gives you your multifunction of the same button. And these are done as you would any other keybind. You click on here, and you map your keybind, and then you hit escape, and make sure you save down at the bottom if you've made any changes. So there you have it. That is how I handle different implements with telehandlers and front loaders, and that is how I use them to load bales in different ways. Now, if you've enjoyed this, if you think this is useful, I'd love to hear in the comments if you'd like to see more of these. How do you use these with certain different implements? This, that and the other. Let me know. I'd love to do a few more of these videos. Also, shout out to Thrustmaster for supporting me and supporting this video. And like I said, if you found this useful, let me know in the comments. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now. I have been a fan of Thrustmaster and was already an avid user of their products for a long time. I like the high build quality and the ingenuity they put into them. Take the eSwap controller with its built-in steering module, which is brilliant if you don't have the desire or space for a wheel, or the ingenious SimTask bracket that angles your standard Thrustmaster T128 or 248 racing wheel into a tractor or truck configuration. And of course, the new FarmStick. As far as I'm concerned, the best value for money upgrade for your farming simulator setup you can get. And you now have the opportunity to support the channel at no extra cost to you by buying directly from Thrustmaster.com. All you need to do is select your location, which includes countries in the UK, Europe, North America, South America and the Far East, and search for the product that you want. Once you've added that purchase to your basket, you just need to add my creator code, TheFarmSimGuy, and check out as normal. And by adding my code, you're directly supporting the channel through a small commission that I receive from Thrustmaster. And the best bit? It's not just the FarmStick and SimTask range, my code is accepted for any product on the Thrustmaster site. So if you're into flight sim or sim racing, my code works across all platforms. In addition, Thrustmaster have committed to prize giveaways on the channel too, so stay tuned and you could be in with a chance of winning some Thrustmaster goodies at some point in the future. Of course, the choice where you buy your products is still entirely up to you, but if you want to support the channel at no extra cost, you know you can do this through Thrustmaster.com. For now, that's enough of this. Let's get back to the farm. Take care. See you soon.